Welcome back to the Coach Godwin Show. It's Coach Koran Godwin, all-time leading scorer at the University of North Florida, also author of Everyone Hates a Ball Hog, but They All Love a Scorer. On today's podcast, I have a special guest. You guys know that I always talk about going the extra mile and working hard. Well, this guy is the definition of that, and he's going to tell you a couple things that you can include into your work ethic as far as you get to the next level. He's actually branded himself, and his website is CoachDane.com, and it's the 1% mindset. So we're talking about that 1%, folks. So, Coach Dane, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Coach. How are you, man? Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, definitely, man. Whenever guys are about working hard and getting kids to understand that there are no elevators to success, you have to take the stairs. And looking through some of your videos, I saw that one mention, climbing each step. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Right. Well, I came from that same type of mentality when I was younger, thinking it was going to be easy, right? You see all these success stories, and you grab onto their success, but we never get to see their grind. And I blew some D1 scholarships in basketball and just couldn't figure out why. And later, while I was kind of researching and figuring out my own self, I realized I was trying to take the elevator, right? I wasn't willing to take each step and grind every single day. And that is just, I'm so passionate about that message to our youngsters. There's no such thing as an overnight success, right? Unless you think 15 years is overnight. And that video that I put up on YouTube was just about that. The grind is creating your story. Every set creates the power of your story. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. And I know that in the basketball community, most of the players and coaches, obviously, everyone is on ESPN. That's kind of like the mecca of our world as far as getting information. And the thing about ESPN that I love is that you get a lot of information in a short period of time, but also some of the youngsters may look at some of the highlights and the dunks and not understand that it takes a while to get to that point, and you have to put in the work. Can you tell us some of the things that these youngsters should do as far as their off-season program and their mindset when they attack their workouts?
And it first starts, Coach, it first starts with creating that really detailed long-term picture of what it is you're working toward. I think we all kind of miss that part. I think we may have a vague idea of what we want, and then we kind of work every day, and then we work the next day, and we work the next day. I'm a huge believer, and I've seen it work in myself, and as the star athlete that you were, and teach that we need to create that detailed, long-term picture of what we're striving for. Like, what is our reason for doing it? And once that picture is in place, and I mean detailed, I mean like you smell it and you taste it and you literally wake up and live in it every day, then during the summer, then during the off season, then during your workouts, you have such a different type of passion and a different type of drive, right? Because if you can have that picture locked in while you're doing what you're doing, there isn't an obstacle that can stop you. There isn't enough, there isn't such thing as fatigue. So it starts there. And then when you get in that gym, it is literally about a decision that you will never, no matter what, your separation comes from never being outworked. Never, like that, taking those extra 10 shots when you know everybody's gone home. When you know your competition is too tired to take the extra 10 or 15 shots. So it begins with that long-term picture, and then it continues with that mentality. And Coach, it's really a decision, right? As you know, somewhere along your career, you made a decision to do X, Y, Z. It didn't just happen. You weren't just born talented and then you became the all-time leading scorer, right? You decided that you were going to do X, Y, and Z. And I think, the youngsters don't understand how powerful a committed decision is,
Oh, definitely. I can remember going back to when I was 14, and I'm looking at some of my old pictures, and you talk about seeing the end and seeing where you want to be. My entire room, I could not see the walls. The only thing I can see is Slam magazine cutouts. That's it. I had every All-American. I had every NBA player, every college player, anybody that was anyone. From the time I woke up, that's the first thing I saw was my vision, and that kind of pushed me forward, as you said, because it was a daily reminder that this is the next level and this is where I want to go. So I'm extremely excited about what you just said, because I think that these players have to see it, and there's so much competing for their time nowadays. I mean, you talk about the internet, their phone, and things that aren't particularly good for them in their goals. So glad you brought that up. Another thing I wanted to ask you about, a lot of these kids, some of them do have the work ethic, and a lot of times I like to talk about the until philosophy, and it's a philosophy that I actually believe in, and you pressed upon it just a little bit, and I say that you got to do things until, because I get a whole lot of emails. Every day email comes in and someone says, well, how long do I have to do this drill? Well, you do that drill until, how many shots do I have to shoot? Well, you shoot until. Can you kind of expound upon that work ethic and that until philosophy and some of the things I heard you said earlier?
That's such a fantastic philosophy. Because it's so true, right? Like people ask all the time, like, how long is it going to take? How much do I have to do? Look, here's where you are today. Here's where you will be in a month, in 2 months, in 5 years. The only thing holding you back is, as you said, until. The only thing holding you back is time. And that's a separation factor. Can you outlast time? Can you outlast a month, 4 years, 8 years? Because the separation factor comes from knowing. And this is the fact, why it is 1%. Why not many make it, not because of talent, because they can't outlast the time factor. They can't endure enough struggle. They can't persevere another hour of jumpers, right? They just can't. They can't go through another half hour of sprint. So when you say until, you just hit it right on the head, Coach. That it's all about enduring the time, right? And just knowing, like I grew confidence, in my word, persevere. I'm going to make it. And not only am I going to make it for myself, but I am going to separate from my competition as an athlete, as teaching my daughter along the way. All that's separating us is the until factor, as you said, right? Getting from point A. And it's hard, right? Like these kids, like you said, they want it now. Everything's now. YouTube, iPad, iPhone. And so I think, Coach, I think it has to be taught. Right, just over and over and over. Yeah?
And I definitely agree with that. And one of the things, I'm a little bit older now in my mid-30s, so I see life differently. Before, I worked hard for particular goals, so before I wanted to be the best basketball player I could be. Obviously, I broke records in high school and college, and that was part of my accomplishment. But now I kind of see that the 1% mentality, the until philosophy, it goes beyond even your goal, because I see it as a place. And as a book that I recently read says there's no traffic on the extra mile. That extra mile is a place that's going to make you successful on and off the court, because a lot of people can't go to that place because they've never been there before. If you never worked until, if you never had to put in those extra jump shots, if you never had to work out in the weight room and do an extra 5 squats, then you don't understand, this place called the extra mile. But once you understand that, now you can transfer that place and you can go there in other areas of your life. So can you talk about that aspect of transcending this 1% mentality into other aspects and being successful in life?
Oh, that's really what it's about, right? It's the small thing that we're teaching you athletics, we're teaching you basketball, how to break records, and how to create those goals. It really is about creating something bigger than yourself. Creating, like I always talk, it's not just a business for me. Like, I'm creating a legacy for my daughter. Like, I'm creating a legacy. I want something bigger than myself. And I think if we can teach the young kids that, it could be about getting to that D1 school. Okay, now you're there. Now you're a starter as a freshman. Now you've broken records. Now what? Now school's over. Now what? Now you went over to Europe or NBA or what? Now when that's over, now what? right? So like you said, doing the extra for something bigger, something that transcends, like life. Basketball and life are connected, they're aligned. So if we can get, and that is, like you said, it is a mindset, it's a mentality, it's not an easy button, it's not a technique, it's a way of looking at the larger picture, getting out of our little cocoon here, our little bubble, and trying to figure out, again, what is bigger for us? Like what can I teach us? Not what can I teach others? What can I have and teach myself that is bigger than just this little bubble that we're in right now?
Oh, Coach, man, you definitely hit the nail on the head. Before we go, I'd like you to just let everyone know how they can find you on Twitter and your website or anything else you may be doing.
No, I'm nonstop. I'm at CoachDane.com and all over Twitter at Coach Dane, and that's DAYNE. And Facebook at Coach/Coach Dane. I mean, it's solo. I'm in the middle of writing a book. As you know how long that takes. I mean, it's just such a fun grind every day, right, Coach? It's like every single day. It never stops.
Every day. Well, hey, Coach, I appreciate you coming on the show, and we definitely have to do this again because I truly believe that the 1% mindset, the until philosophy, is something that these young kids and even coaches can instill in their programs and their off-season workout programs and ultimately in life. So I thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem at all. All right, folks, you heard it here. Coach Dane, Coach Godwin, we're talking about the 1% mindset. We're talking about the until philosophy. If you guys really grab hold of this philosophy, it will definitely take your game to the next level. As always, God first, work hard. If you're not listening to this podcast via my basketball training app, just log on and search into your iPhone or Android app store, search Coach Godwin, and there you have it, free of charge, all right? So until next time, God first, work hard. We'll see you at the top.